And as you see, the BBC News helicopter is above southern England, giving you a sense of everything that Susan Powell was talking about in the last few minutes. No let up in the snow. And our correspondent Robert Hall is on board the helicopter, but of course, given the inclement weather, communication with Robert can be a little tricky, but certainly at least it hasn't prevented us most of the time from showing the images, even if we can't speak to Robert. We will do that when we can. But we've seen the image across Gatwick. They've been over the Gatwick airport for much of the day. I understand they're moving to the Orpington area of Kent. Some of the train lines there. Robert, in fact, I think you might be able to hear us, give us a sense of where you are and what you've been witnessing this morning.
Jane, we're just over Orpington station here in Kent. Stuck trains, really, is the story here. You can see that the railway lines are hardly visible at all in this particular area. And that's been the picture right across the Kent-Surrey area that we've been covering this morning. We started over at Gatwick, where, again, you might not know there was a runway there if you couldn't see the lights. They're busy trying to clear it. 6 to 8 inches of snow. There's still snow falling. Massive job at Gatwick. The rail, well, again, the picture here at Orpington reflects the picture elsewhere as well. There are some trains running, but not very many, and the schedule's obviously severely disrupted. I think some of the train companies report a very slight improvement on some routes, but I don't think one should expect anything like a normal service. The roads, well, arterial roads, the Highways Agency say the main motorway network is open and running. Certainly the M25 has got 6 lanes running, Jane. The further you get from the motorways and the smaller the roads, the greater the difficulties and potential dangers for drivers. We've seen farmers out with tractors helping to clear some of the country roads. The problem really is that snow's now compacted and freezing underneath, and it's likely to freeze further tonight, so it is very dangerous. Surrey Police and Kent Police saying they've had all sorts of problems. Touch wood, there have been no serious accidents, but it is hazardous, and they're saying don't drive unless you have to, particularly if you're driving in country areas or perhaps on estates in the urban areas which haven't been treated. It is dangerous, and so if you've got to go somewhere and you can get there on foot, it's close enough, that's probably the safest thing to do. More snow still falling, a big freeze forecast tonight. It's a pretty miserable picture, Jane, and of course people here sharing what those further north and in Scotland have been experiencing for a little bit longer.
Absolutely, Robert. And Susan Powell has just been in the studio telling us, as you're hinting there, about just how low the temperatures could drop tonight. So you may be up in the helicopter again tomorrow, Robert, and it'll be a very similar picture. Yes, I think we've lost communication with Robert, but the helicopter continuing to circle and show us just, well, it's just a familiar image now, isn't it, for miles and miles and miles. He's in the Orpington area, Kent, as Robert said. He's going to be heading over to Gatwick again and assess the situation there. But as we say, Gatwick, we know the authorities there, there's no hope of anything moving at Gatwick until at least 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And frankly, when you look at this and you hear the forecast that Susan Powell was just giving us, you do think you have to question whether even that is going to be possible. The ice, the compacted snow that Robert was talking about, and there's the railway station. I think it's still Orpington railway station, and we hear even the trains that are meant to be clearing the snow having problems in some areas and so much ice on the tracks. There are no train services at all, really nothing south of Croydon. Slightly better picture over Scotland, as we've heard, because at least we've had that good news in the last couple of hours that people are crossing fingers at Edinburgh Airport, but they think that Edinburgh Airport might be able to reopen around about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Please don't go out without checking. We'll be severely told off if anyone goes on the basis of that. But they are hoping, fingers crossed, that things might start moving at Edinburgh Airport. But further south, no hope of that today at all. And Robert, I think you might be able to hear us again. And your camera operator there zooming in. Is this still Orpington? You're still over Orpington station in Kent?
Yes, we've got information that there is a snow clearing train actually unable to move from here. Perhaps that gives you an indication of the difficulties that the railway companies are facing. I'm not technical enough to tell you whether that is a snow clearing train, but we are at Orpington Station. But if you look around here, you can see the amount of snow that's fallen. This is an urban area. People are walking. There's very little traffic. Cars are covered in almost a foot of snow in places. There's no sign of thawing. The rooftops are always an indication, aren't they? And there's no sign that that snow is moving anytime soon. And of course, as you've been hearing in the weather forecast, the forecast is for it to be a lot colder this evening. The message across the south, I can't really repeat it often. Please don't go out, says the police and the local authorities, unless you really need to, particularly in your car. Take care. It's going to be icy. There's going to be compacted snow. If you stray off the main roads, you could run into real difficulties. And the police are saying their priority is the safety of those who are out and about. And obviously, they don't want stranded drivers cause extra headaches for the patrols that are trying to cover the ground in difficult conditions themselves. Difficult and dangerous was how Surrey Police described it earlier on for their patrols. But I stress that the Highways Agency say the main arterial routes are running and that they are confident that they have treated them sufficiently to keep them running.
Robert, thank you very much for now. Robert Hall in the helicopter over the skies of Kent. Much more from Robert over the course of the day.